Hello everyone, I'm Psychotic and that's also my screen name. Welcome back for episode 5 of our Boron playthrough of X4. Today we're running a little bit slower than normal, I do apologize. We're mostly gearing up and getting the foundation of our empire started up. So we're gonna work on getting some ships going and some stations going, so there's not going to be a whole lot of action, but it's all going to be very important for laying the groundwork for getting to the action. We're going to try and get a hold of a rattlesnake. We're going to try and hopefully be able to get a hold of a raptor, money dependent. We're going to try and get started on our hull parts station and our mining depots and what have you, so that we can try and start working towards getting a shipyard. Once we have a shipyard, we'll be able to manufacture our own ships in fairly quick fashion. We're also going to work on some research so that we can get access to better teleportation, potentially get the SETA unlocked. That's a big one that we really need to get done. That will save me a lot of time in the long run, because the SETA makes everything move at 6x speed. So if something takes a minute, then it now takes 10 seconds. If something takes an hour, then it now takes 10 minutes. So that's a very, very big increase, especially when you're talking building an Atlas takes about an hour. If you're running the SETA during that time, you only have to wait about 10 minutes. And we're going to try and accrue some money along the way as well. Mostly we're focusing on trying to basically get away from using money. We're going to try and supply ourselves with everything, but until that happens, until we get all of our recipes, we're going to need the money, especially when some of the ships that we're looking at are like 300 million just to get the recipe. But if you guys learn anything useful today, or if you have a good time, please don't be afraid to drop a like. If you're feeling friendly, maybe go ahead and subscribe. But either way, let's go ahead and get into it. Okay, so here we are back again. It's been a couple of hours. We've got about 80 million, which should be enough to start our journey towards our Rattlesnake. So let's get this guy purchased and see about getting it as upgraded as we can. So in this particular case, we're going to take whichever's cheaper, which looks like that. We're not even going to work, well, I guess cheap shields too. That we can go big on because that's the only option we're going to have. Cheap shields. That's the only main weapon that they can have, so we'll grab that. The turrets are where things get interesting, and we're just not going to buy any turrets because we want specific ones. This is going to be ours, so we're going to give it the best of everything. Consumables, we want it to have probably a couple of cargo drones, we'll say 3. Put a couple of defense drones just in case, and then flesh it out with some repair drones. We can do 3, 3, and 3. And then let's do an extra cargo drone just in case. Alright, and then we have to have a captain, but that's all that we're going to add. So this is going to cost us 35 of our 80 million. We're going to set that up, and then once that's built, which is missing a lot of hull parts, so we can speed that along a little bit. There's another K. Boy, they're really busting out the big uns. That Raptor ought to handle it. That's where all these guys came from. He's got a resupply ship for him too. Oof. I think he just had small ships packed in there. I don't think he had any torpedoes. Because they're barely even pinking its shields. That's not going to end well for them. Because it's just chewing through them. That might be the beginning of the end for the ZYA. We'll see. We'll see if they can bounce back from that or not. But we can send some traders to get him some parts. Now, we did buy a couple of plots here. Our energy cell factory is on its way, and I did set up these off camera, which I kind of wish I hadn't done. It's very basic. We've got that monstrosity on top, then we've got the luxury dock, a short vertical, a single cross, and then it's got 4 on each side. These are all solid, these are all solid, and then these are all liquid, and these are all liquid. So what I did is I put the narrow point, because these have 4 connectors around the base of them. So I put the narrow point on the cross for the first ring, and then I attached all the other rings to the prior ring. So there's not actually a central piece there. But that should be more than enough storage for a depot. I can't imagine us going through more than that. And then each one is named appropriately for hydrogen, or hydrogen, silicon methane, and ice helium. And we'll set that up later. So these are going to be probably, we'll do this one as a hull parts, and this one as a Claytronics. The only thing, we did finish our second research for teleportation, so we can now pop 3 systems. We're working on this one to be able to go 5. I don't know why the advanced electronics went down, but okay. I'm wondering if I accidentally have a sell order going on here. So let's go ahead and look at our logical overview, I guess, and see if we have advanced electronics. We don't have a sell order, so why are they disappearing? I don't know what it's doing with them. They were full a minute ago. We do need, however, to get some Nividium. So we're going to have to get some miners going, and I did pre-build those guys. So we've got a handful of miners that we are waiting on turret components for. And I have 2 of our traders from our headquarters taking the turret components. I don't know that they're going to be enough. Oh, it's going. Okay. We didn't actually have to trade for any of that. They got it on their own. So in 5 minutes, we will have a Rattlesnake. And then we will take it over to Boron for crew. And then down to Terran for shields. And then up to, and I'm going to say Antigone. I know it's Antigone, but it throws me off every time. I pause every time I try to say it right. We'll come over here to get our turrets, because we need ARG turrets, and we're not high enough with ARG to get them, and these guys sell the same stuff. And we want the ARG turrets for the range, so that we can take out stations without them being able to hit back. That's the big thing there. I'm very excited, though. This is actually almost ready to start producing and selling. Yeah. They are currently working on their first energy cell production. So it's well on its way. And then this will get us faster rep with the Boron. I've been trying to transition into Boron trading and mining ships. We'll see how that goes, because I wanted to try and experiment a little bit with the Boron ships. So that should at least get us our miners. And we're going to co-op the miners to try and get ourselves some Nividium. We did build onto our PHQ a small container. Just plopped it on top there for solid storage for it. Hopefully it can hold 2,000, because that's what we're going to need for the next tier. I guess we'll find out when we get there. We can always plop another small one on top if we have to. Because that one we need 50, and then this one we need 2,000. And that will allow us to teleport anywhere on the map as long as we own it or we're above 27 reputation with them. How is our ship doing? Alright, so our Rattlesnake is just about finished. I said I was going to go away, but I showed you other stuff instead. So the main reason that we want a Terran engine for this beast is because it accelerates faster. That's going to make it go faster. The turrets we already talked about, it's a range issue. And then we want Borons crewing the thing. That's more or less where we're at. I think actually I don't want to go through Sanctuary of Darkness without shields. Or at least without decent shields. So maybe we'll send it down here to Antigone first. Get him some turrets. And then we'll send him down here to get Rap. Okay, so we need to be 20 with the Terrans in order to get to their shipyard. We only have access to a wharf right now. Because it's in Earth, in the moon area. Alright, yeah, I guess that's the plan. So the shields are going to be a little bit later, but we'll get everything else and then go after shields, I guess. And it is ready. So we are going to rename him UIK Personal Rattlesnake. Confirm. Alright, let's go get you some guns, buddy. We're going to come down here. Turrets. So we want all of our large ones to be plasma turrets. And we want all of our medium ones to be... oops. It helps if I'm paying attention. We want all of our medium ones to be shard turrets. The big thing to remember with split ships is they do not have very many shield slots, but they have incredibly thick hulls. Alright, so he's en route. And we are starting to get some miners out now. So we're going to reuse these later. For right now, we're just going to have them repeat. Can we get Nividium? I'm pretty sure it's only the yellow spaces, but I could be wrong on that. Oh, there's a bunch here. Okay. So we'll send him here instead. Silent witness. But these guys are going to flip down to fill our depots once this is done. So we'll get that done to get our Nividium and whatnot. Where is our Rattlesnake? So he's en route. We're not going to be able to get better shields or engines just yet. We need to be 20 with Terrans before that happens. And we just hit 15, so that's going to be a little bit. Alright, I will bring you back here in a little bit when we've got some more things to show. We still have a fair bit of money, so I do want to start working on stations, but for now we're just going to wait. I want to get the Rattlesnake finished. I'm not sure. I don't think it's going to be 46 million, but I'm not sure how much of a dent that's going to put in us. But I will bring you back when we start building stations, or when we are ready to go have some fun in the Rattlesnake. Okay, so it hasn't been super long, but I did blow a bunch of our money on a Raptor. We're not going to be able to fully outfit it by any means, but it is just about done. And then we're going to send it on the same route that we sent the Rattlesnake on. The Raptor is a little bit squishier, but it is absolutely nasty with smaller ships. It can do the same thing that the Rattlesnake can, but it's a little more dangerous to tackle stations with it because it doesn't have any direct guns. It is all turrets. So, and I mean, if you're in system, it's a little bit easier to manage than if you're out of system. Because the out of system, your turrets have a 50% chance to hit every time they fire, and your guns have a 100% chance to hit every time they fire. The problem is, if you're not in system, getting the AI to maintain the proper distance from stations is very difficult. And it looks like our Rattlesnake just got its parts, or is in the middle process of getting its parts. That's almost 500,000 just in people. I suppose we can always send it down here and park it at like one of their trade depots while we wait for our access to Earth. We're still going a little slow on that. One of the other things is we can actually initiate the Busta stuff now. He should be on site. All we have to do is head down to our science lab.
Quickly, come in. I cannot be sure, but it seems like we have an intruder. Perhaps some long-dormant entity has awoken inside this facility. Or maybe beings from the parallel realm have found a way through.
Sorry to disappoint. It's just little old me. Don't look so shocked. I should be the one who's surprised to see you running this place, of all people.
Intruder, would you be so kind as to take 2 steps back so that I can enact the purge protocols?
And you, dear Boron. A group of Split approached me to track you down. Luckily for you, I find such tasks rather troublesome. After the scale plate situation worsened, my ship was targeted. We didn't have much of a chance, and only a handful of us managed to escape in our pods. Once I was sure the survivors were safe, I started to piece together what happened.
What happened to Reen?
Reen turned herself in to the Argon police. She's working with them to help disrupt scale plate activities in Argon space. It appears that she didn't follow my instructions closely enough.
A plan which hinges on the conduct of criminal madmen is not much of a plan at all.
I mean,
if you observe something long enough, you can account for anything, even madmen.
Not true. The whole point of being mad is not following logical stuff. Why are you here?
I started to hear rumors of a mysterious station appearing out of nowhere. Given that I just lost my pride and joy, I was looking for a new start. So, I broke in. I was expecting to sweet-talk some top-secret government folks, but everything led to the Boron. And you.
You are an interloper.
I'm the best damn interloper this side of the multiverse. With my analytic abilities, your resources, and the Boron's prickly demeanor, we can do anything. What do you say?
Let's give it a try.
I'll start measuring this room up so I can get my equipment in.
You will do no such thing. This is my laboratory.
You'll hardly know I'm here.
So that just gave us access to all of the other major quest lines for each of the races. As we talk to him, so we can start the Split Connection, which is the Split War. We can deal with the Paranid Civil War, and others will open up as our rep gets higher with them as well. But that opens all of that stuff up. The main reason I wanted to come here was to retrieve all of the stuff that we've been having our pilots store in here when they collect stuff for us. And I would really like to see Did we manage to find ourselves one of those broken engine pieces? So let's go to player and inventory. Got some paint mods. That's fun. Damaged singularity engine. There it is. We did manage to pick one up. Excellent. Excellent. I don't know about the other parts. I don't remember what they are offhand. It's kind of a thing you only do once a save. But I will hope that we've got some of the other parts as well. We'll see what happens. I want to get the teleportation stuff up and off the ground first. But that is definitely our next priority, is the time dilation, so I don't have to leave the game running for hours and hours anymore. It's like, it takes quite a while to make some of the larger ships in your dockyards, and you can get it down to where it's like 10 minutes a ship instead of an hour a ship. Very, very big difference. Oh, he's just going to keep going. So if we scan him, we should be able to destroy him. Just by the time we got there, it would have been too late to do anything for our boy. He is way up there. Wow. Okay. Now you do you, man. I noticed the oddity when you shift the map around, you can tell that he's up high. And then you can angle it down to see just how high. You just right-click and push forward or pull back. I tried to keep my map in the original configuration because it's what I'm used to, but you can really do whatever you want with it. How are we coming along up here? Are you actually ready to start? Yes, you are. So we need to come in here and do a logical overview and energy cells. And we are not going to have any buy orders, but we are definitely going to sell to everyone for now. Eventually, that's going to be rescinded. We're also going to need to get some cargo drones and some defense drones and some repair drones. That's probably plenty. And now hopefully his traders will actually start to trade. Now does he have everything he needs for his build? Nope. He's still pulling whole parts. But these guys, I guess they are still going, aren't they? Trade for build storage, yeah. As long as they're still blue and not orange. These guys should be able to start getting some of his energy cells sold, though. And that's going to go a long way towards helping us get these other stations off the ground, because we can just transfer straight from ourselves. So this guy, all of these need hull parts, and the Boron are not producing nearly enough. They only have one trade station for hull parts. So hull parts is going to be our next big push as far as stations go. But right now, I mean, we've got some ships coming up here to get them. We've got some ships coming down here to get them. Some ships coming here to get them. And even some ships coming over into here to get them. But I've got everybody spread out on repeat orders. Just all of these are just bringing hull parts back. And I've got them set up to come here first. And then, just in case I'm not paying attention when this is finished, they'll start going to this one next. I could queue up the others, but it's kind of a pain in the butt. So I have them in order for the repeat orders. So they buy, and then they'll sell to this one. And if he can't take them for some reason, then they'll move on to sell to this one. If he does take them, then when it goes to sell to this one, they'll say, hey, we can't sell to him, we don't have anything, and then they'll go back to buy more. So that's why I set it up that way. And we are getting very close to being able to start claiming stations. We need to be 20 with the Borons, and we are 19. Once we hit 20 with the Borons, we will be able to get their recipe for their administrative center. And once, I don't want to use any other race's administrative center. We could theoretically currently grab either the split one or the Antigone one, but I really want the Boron one because they all look different. The split one looks very much like a split ship part. So I want the Boron look to keep our stations looking right. He's slowly but surely traveling through. I was going to send him to get turrets, but honestly, he's going to be parked there for a while because the Raptor packs 99 turrets. I think it was 99. Maybe it was 102. It's a weird, bizarre number, but it packs an absolute bastard amount of turrets, and I know we don't have enough money to outfit it. But we have it, so that's a huge start. And it is going to be our personal one. I usually wind up with a personal fleet, and then I have fleets that are specifically for aggressive actions and defensive actions. And I usually wind up with lots of fleets. We're probably going to do the same here. I do want to start experimenting here in the near future with some of the ships from Boron's. I mean, we've already swapped over a lot of our traders and our miners. I think, though, we're still going to rely on the crane, which comes out of Talati, just because of the amount of space that that thing has. It's a great large miner, and I feel like it would be crippling ourselves to just restrict ourselves to Boron, particularly since they can't share equipment. They can't use anybody else's equipment on their ships, and they can't... no other ships can use their equipment either. So it's going to be interesting. I know some of their weapons had a snare effect. I don't know if that's still in effect after the combat changes. We'll look into it. If it is, I will probably use some lighter ships, either small or scout, and we will have them snare, which slows down other ships, so that the big ones can catch up and just decimate. I have plans. I have lots of plans. This is going to be a lot of fun. But I will bring you back when we have something a little bit more interesting, or when we start building these. I have plans to build these. We're going to be using the website that I've shown in a couple of different episodes in a couple of different videos. I don't want to get that started until we can actually supply the thing. So these need to be finished first. So I'll bring you back once we're further along. Okay, here we are. Fast forward a little bit. We are still waiting on our rank 10 for our, or our rank 20 rather, for our Tyrants. We're up to 18, but we've made some money, and we've managed to get our, I actually built on, because we hit 20 with the Borons, I built on a little, admin center. So we now own Heretic's End. It now belongs to us entirely. And then I am working on getting us, there we go, control of Watchful Gaze as well. I don't know how well this is coming along, because I didn't really put much into it. Just a real basic defense platform. I don't know why I put the large docking on there. We really don't need it. We really don't need anything but that. We don't need the small dock. Well, yeah, we do need a small docking. That's important. But I don't expect it to be docked with much other than us with our personal ships, so I don't know why I decided it needed all this docking stuff. Like, I really don't think it needs the 8 either. Let's remove that module, and then we'll shrink this down. We'll just make it real basic-like. And then I put that upside down because of how high up I put it. But it is close to the gate just in case, so it can help fight if it needs to. It doesn't have any guns at the moment, but it will eventually. And actually, now that we've got that there, let's put some modules where it wouldn't let us before. I am glad that I wanted to point this out to you guys, because that was a bit of an oversight on my part, and a good quick fix. Let's go ahead and conform changes. Oh, it had already been started being built. Oh well. Well, now they can build this a little bit faster, and actually I would like to take you and run you out, and then back in, and then take you and do the same. But we get the admin center up next. So it'll do the small cross section, which should be super cheap and fast. It needs hull parts, which it's not going to get for a while. And then do the admin center. That way we are good to go as far as taking over Watchful Gaze as well. It has everything except for ice. And unfortunately there's not really any ice nearby. But it is what it is. The one upside is we have been bogarting all of the hull parts. So they're not going to be able to get any. It's not going to be an issue. We've been stealing them not just from the surrounding areas, but like from quite a ways away as well. That way we can ignore him. Alright, so the main thing that I wanted to do is we finished our research for the 3rd teleportation. I was going to start the 4th teleportation, but I actually thought that, well, and then I decided I was going to start this, and then I thought rather than collecting all of this, let's see if we can't get time compression to get our stations up to where we can just supply all this ourselves. I feel like that's a much better way to do it. So we're going to real quick turn in our damage singularity engine that we got a while back. and see what else we need and whether or not we already have it. Because if we can get a SETA, then we're going to be in business.
Hello there.
Deliver. Damage
Thanks for your
singularity
help.
item. Nope, looks like we do not have a flux capacitor. It's alright though, that's stage 1. So we're going to do some building on... We bought the plots, but we haven't actually done any building. These two are going to be the most important because they are required for building more stations as our energy cells, but we're good there. So we're going to start with the hull parts, because if we look at this one that hasn't even been started yet, it has everything but hull parts. And that's because I have these guys trying to get hull parts. And this one's actually good to go. He's finished. So it actually doesn't look that bad when everything's said and done, especially with this centered over the top, the way that we have it. The wire outline was not pretty, but it looks like it's going to work just fine. I am a little worried that it's too close to the other ones, but we'll see how it goes. It looks like he's starting to get some stuff too. And they are starting to fill. Like, we've got a fair chunk of ore and a fair bit of hydrogen. And then over here we've got a lot of methane, because I forgot that we had methane selling here for reputation with Boron. So all of them were dogpiling it too, on top of the miners that we got set up for it. So it got filled almost immediately. And then silicon's working slowly. And then the ice and helium, I've got 4 medium miners and a large gas miner set aside specifically for them. The large gas miner is not yet here. He is still coming back from... Yep, there he is. Oh, he'll be there momentarily. But let's go ahead and get started on our hull parts factory. So we're going to go to build plan. We want to make sure that our dock is facing the gate. So this way. You can see in the distance our energy cell factory there. So we're going to start, obviously, with the dock. And we're not going to use that monstrosity that we've been using. We're going to try to tone it down a little bit. I honestly don't think that they're going to need 4 trades, more than 4 trades at once. I think 6 is probably excessive. I've been wrong before, but... Alright, and then we'll take this to the top. Okay, and then we're going to put a luxury dock behind it. Make sure that this is facing the correct way. It is not. Oh, maybe it is. Ah, there we go. There we go. You would probably come in from the sides. I don't know. I guess it really doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things. But it makes me happy, so that's the way that we're doing it. And then this one is just for mediums, because most of our traders are going to wind up being medium. And then from this point, we're going to add the cross that we need, which is an argon piece, I know, but it's better than our cross, which is a hex, which is kind of cool, but it's going to be really hard to build around because, I mean, like, parts are pointed into other parts and whatnot, so I didn't want to deal with it. We've also got this guy, but again, it's a 3-piece. It's the same reason, even on my split playthrough, I use this cross from the argons because it is just easier to build with. So at this point, we are going to pull up our little cheat sheet. So I am going to give you access to my main monitor, which I normally don't like to do. And then I'm going to pull over our little station calculator. So we're doing hull parts. So we want a hull part production. Make sure that you don't do the Telati by accident because they require other materials. But generally speaking, I like to do 5. It's generally overkill, but it is what... I mean, it's what I go for. It helps to supply... It helps to make sure that you never run out of materials as far as both your trade station and your shipyards. So we're looking at 271% sunlight. I couldn't remember the exact percent. That's why we got out real quick. 271%. All right. And then we're going to autofill modules. So in order to... Wow, that really does not take that much, does it? All right. And then we are going to put in 3 of the living modules. They are called Oasis. So 1000 is the big one. Whoops. And we're going to put in 2 of those. And then once we've done that, if we autofill modules, now we also need other things to supply the module, which actually ups the amount of people that we need. So I think it's going to be easier at this point to actually add a third than it is to add a medium, which is only 500. Yeah, there we go. So at this point, we would need methane, ice, and ore, and that's all that we need to keep it running. And this is going to produce 8,056 hull parts. I don't remember if this is a minute or an hour. That shouldn't change anything anyway. And we're having basic resources come in from miners, which means everything is free. So it's going to make us basically 3,300,000. We could probably boost production a little bit, though. I gave us a way bigger spot than we needed. So what happens if we do 10? And then we're going to need 2 more of the oases. And then a small oasis. So at this point, we'll get 16,000, which is quite a bit better. And it still doesn't require really that much. So we're going to go ahead and build it based on this. So I'm going to move this over to the other screen. I know you guys can't see it. If you want to screenshot what this is going to take, there you go. But I'm going to move this over here and bring us back to our game. Oh, I lied. I'm going to turn off that and bring us back to our game. And then we're going to get building. I made this way bigger than it really needed to be. I did 5, 5, and 5, but I'm used to building in station areas that I own. So we probably could have gotten away with like a 3, 3, and 3. So we know that we're going to need storage, obviously. We're going to need solid storage, we're going to need liquid storage, and we're going to need material storage. So we can start with those. Let's see. We need a container storage. Yeah, I know you don't like that. That's fine. Okay. That's weird that you won't... Why will you not attach? Still too close, huh? Alright. So we'll remove you, and we will remove you. And we're going to put in a small stint. Well, we'll put in a medium one. It'll give us a little bit more boron look anyway. It's not going to hurt anything. Alright. So then off of here we can do our storages. If I can remember which one to click. Alright, so we're going to do... And the nice part with the storages, particularly with the boron storages, is you can actually connect the storages to the storages. Why will you not connect there? It really doesn't want to connect there. I don't understand what its issue is. Are we too high? Is that what's going on? What if we take the whole thing down just a smidge? I might have put us up too high. That might have been my problem. Ah, that's exactly what the problem was. Okay, easy fix, easy fix. So with that particular case, let's see if we can't get a solid and a medium at the other juncture. No, it still doesn't like that. So we'll do a solid there. I honestly don't remember if that was a solid or a liquid, but we can check easily. That was a liquid. So we'll do a solid on this side. So we're probably not going to need more than one of each. And thankfully we can attach them to each other, which is kind of special with these containers, and it's really nice. And then we can go ahead and go down with a vertical 2 from our cross. So it gives us a nice little plus sign. And we'll throw another cross there. And then probably another down. I think we're going to need at some point. But for now, let's see what we actually need. So we need our hull part productions. Those are important. We also need an energy cell production. And I think we might be able to cheese our... We only need a single energy cell production. So let's see if we can't get away with pulling one off the side up here. Maybe? No? Didn't like that? I wonder if we're still too high. Try that. Ah, there we go. Alright, so one of those is going to be enough. And then we need graphene production. That'll actually fit in there nicely. We might actually be able to make a much more condensed station based on the connectors that the boron pieces have. We might be able to make this much, much more condensed than the split ones had to be. This is quite nice, actually. Okay, we only need 1 graphene. We need 5 metal production, though. Or refined metal? Yeah, refined metal production. So we need... Okay, where are our connectors? There's one in the center there, and then there's one towards the end. So ideally, we would want one towards the end. But we want it thusly. Like that. I don't know if we'll be able to replicate it next to itself, but we'll see. Copy module. We can. So there's 2. And then we can do another one. And flip it around. And do 3. Okay, now we're not going to be able to do a 4th there, but we still need 2 more. So we could, in theory, pull something like this. My stations are usually kind of Frankensteined. They are not super pretty, they are super condensed, which I prefer. But I'm weird like that. Alright, so that's 2 of those. Which is more than we needed. We only needed 1. Oh, no, that's right. 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Because that one's graphene. Okay, yeah, no, we're fine. We're fine. And then 5 boron large oasis. And then the stuff to feed the people. I'm thinking we might actually want to do the stuff to feed the people first. So let's look at Bofu production. We also have the Terran stuff now. Bofu. There you are. Okay, food production for the split was huge. It looks like it's not quite as bad. Bofu production, we need 2. So we can actually build nicely off the sides of the cross here. Especially since they nestle quite nicely under our storages. Nope, it's not going to let us get away with that one because of the 2 parts we have hanging down. It's alright, let's put it here and spin it. And put it off the back. Come on, work with me. There we go. Okay, so that's our Bofu handled. And we need boron medical supply production. We can fit one there. Can we fit another one there? Yes, we can. Alright. And then we need 2 water production. Water production is pretty universal. And we can actually get a little crafty here because of where the connector's at. And do something like that. And since we only needed 2, right? Yep, 2. We can just copy this one and slap it on the other one as well. Now, unfortunately, that means this is now a dead end. We have everything filled except for like the sides of these. So, I mean, we could come down there, but we also still have our cross that we can work off of. Water, so we need 1 bow gas. That I thought was up here. Yep, it is. Okay, that one's long and skinny. So why don't we throw it pointed towards the front? Like so. And we need 2 plankton. We're going to start typing. Okay, the plankton is awkward shaped. The plankton is very awkward shaped. Let's turn it up like that. And then turn it... Oh my. Yeah, I really don't care for this. There we go. We got it to snap, and that actually helped me straighten it out. Alright, and then we'll just copy it and slap another one underneath. So that's taking care of our space up this way. We could actually offset these just for looks. Let's put that one down, and we'll put this one up. So that they're offset, so once they're built, it'll have kind of a star pattern. I think that'll be fun. There we go. There's my nod to pretty. Alright, and then we need 1 small oasis, and then 5 large ones. So we'll go to... remove that. We need to go to housing. Did I not buy the large one? I apparently did not buy the large one. Oh no, let's not discard. We're almost finished. Thankfully, we're right here. And with the diplomacy thing, we can just buy it now. So modules, habitation. No, we cannot just buy it now. All right, looks like we're going to be a little short-handed in the beginning. We have about half the money that we need, but that's all right. At least we can get some production going. It just won't be all of it. So let's go back to our build plan and at least slap the small one on so that they have some people. It's not ideal, but it'll do. And then we'll get our 5 big ones later on. So for right now, we're going to confirm module changes. And we're going to hire and assign a builder. Oh my. Everybody can't be busy. There we go. Select you. Alright. And we want to take from anybody right now. Because it looks like our energy cells are coming from our energy cell place, which is great. But Claytronics, hull parts, and water we don't have yet. So we're just going to go ahead and let that build up. Alright, now I was going to cancel the hull parts that we're trading, bringing into the ice depot, but I don't think that's a good idea, because we actually need ice for the hull parts factory. So I think we'll just let it keep going, and then we'll take these guys, the traders that are coming in as they come in, and add the hull parts factory to them. So once we get this up, we can build other stuff much faster. I think that'll be good. I can't believe how much wasted space we had on this. I could have made that so much smaller. When I was building them for the split, I felt like they were way bigger. Like, way bigger. I don't know if they changed some of the materials required, or how many things are required, or what. Or if maybe it's just boron pieces are easier. But I know that the habitat stuff, the medical supply production, and plankton farms are much smaller than their split equivalents. Those things were massive. So maybe that's what it is. But ultimately, this is not super bad. It also helps that we're building in the place with the high energy. So it's going to be super easy for these. Unfortunately, we could save this plan and then reuse it, like we reuse some of the others, like our cell station, our mining depots, etc. But we don't know that anywhere... Well, we absolutely know that nowhere else is going to have the exact same sun. So that's not necessarily the best idea. Although we would only have to perhaps add one more energy cell production to get it to work. Because eventually we want to have these scattered out around 10 jumps apart so that we cover everything. And that way we have trade stations that people are buying from, but we also have our own shipyards so that we can build fleets in whatever part of the world we want. Or game world, rather. Yeah, our energy cells are almost full already. All from ourselves. All completely free. How much? Okay, so it's 13 million to fill this up. I'm going to wait on that, to put money in that, until we actually have our large people pod oasis. But we need to go and pick a fight with some Kaak to get our parts for the SETA. So I think that's going to be our next goal, on top of accruing some more money. But we now have built a couple of stations, so I'm happy about that. And that's probably where we're going to end this episode. Next episode, we'll definitely be working on our research and trying to actually get the rest of our stuff up and running. But it's so slow, the SETA will actually speed it up. Because, I mean, we're talking like 10-15 minutes real time for some of these guys to get from pickup to sale. So that'll make a huge difference. But if you guys learned anything useful today, or if you had a good time, please don't be afraid to drop a like. If you're feeling friendly, maybe go ahead and subscribe. But either way, have a fantastic rest of your day, and we will catch you next time. Thanks for watching.